Hello, everyone. Our lesson for today is about cellular components. This lesson will discuss the various components that are found inside the cell, as well as their varying structures, composition, and functions. At the end of this lesson, you, as students, will be able to identify different cellular components, describe the structures and functions of the different cellular components. So before we go directly into our discussion, let me uh, tell you to think of the members of of your family and try to remember the specific roles that they play in your household. Do you think that each member of your family is important? Are the specific roles of each of these member of your family or household necessary? What do you think will happen if any one of them will be missing? Just like your family, our cell is composed of several members, which we call cellular components. All of them must work in harmony to maintain the normal cell functions. Some cellular components are unique to a particular cell type, but some are common to all. Since prokaryotic cell components are discussed in detail in the microbiology course, this section will only focus on the structures that are found in eukaryotic cells, particularly in plant and animal cells. These structures are called organelles. Organelles are those organized or specialized structures that are found in a living cell. They could be enclosed in a membrane or not. Several organelles are commonly found in all types of eukaryotic cells, and there are also those that are uniquely found in certain types of eukaryotic cells. One major organelle in eukaryotic cells is the nucleus. The nucleus is a double membrane called the envelope here. And in the envelope, you will find these openings called the nuclear pores. Inside the nucleus, you will find chromosomes, the nucleus, and the nuclear lamina. The function of the nucleus is for the storage of genetic information and assembly of ribosome subunits. It is in the nucleus where transcription occurs. No? Transcription is the process of mRNA production, which we will be talking in detail when we go to the later modules. Another organelle found in eukaryotic cells are ribosomes. The ribosomes are also found in prokaryotic cells. Ribosomes, unlike the nucleus, do not have a membrane and are a complex of RNA and proteins. The function of the ribosomes is for protein synthesis, specifically during translation. Now, when the message from the mRNA after transcription is being translated into an amino acid sequence. Now, from the nucleus to the ribosomes, you will find the endomembrane system. The endomembrane system is composed of several organelles. The first one is the RAF-ER, or the RAF endoplasmic reticulum. The RAF endoplasmic reticulum is bound by a single membrane here, via a single membrane that contains receptors for the entry of selected proteins. It has a network of branching sacs that is associated with ribosomes, and thus the name RAF. So the function of the RAF-ER is for protein synthesis and processing. Another part of the endomembrane system is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, or the smooth ER. The smooth ER is also bound by a single membrane that contains enzymes for synthesizing phospholipids. It is also composed of a network of branching sacs and contains enzymes for synthesizing lipids. So if you see here, this is the nucleus, continuous actually. Now with the nuclear envelope is the rough ER. You can say that it is rough ER because it has ribosomes attached to it. And then you have here the smooth ER. Another part of the endomembrane system is the Golgi apparatus. So the Golgi apparatus is also bounded by a single membrane, just like the rough ER and the smooth ER. It contains receptors for the products of the rough ER. Now, the Golgi apparatus is composed of flattened cisternae. It functions for processing lipids, proteins, and other organic compounds. Another part of the endomembrane system are the lysosomes. The lysosome is the digestion and recycling center of the cell. It has a single membrane also that contains proton pumps. Now, because of the presence of proton pumps inside the cell, is very acidic. So inside you will find acid hydrolases that catalyze hydrolysis reactions or the breakdown of organic compounds. Another organelle that you can find in eukaryotic cells are the peroxisomes. So the peroxisome functions for the oxidation of fatty acids, breakdown of fatty acids to produce energy. Also, ethanol and other compounds. It also has a single membrane that contains transporters for selected macromolecules. Inside the peroxisomes are enzymes that catalyze oxidation reactions, like catalase, that will convert reactive oxygen species or the toxic form of oxygen into non-toxic ones. So these catalase are what we call antioxidants, together with some peroxidases. Vacuoles, on the other hand, have varying functions. It could contain compounds for coloration, like pigments, or it could be a storage of oils, carbohydrates, water, or toxins. Okay? It is covered by a single membrane, and that contains transporters for selected molecules. Now, vacuoles in plants is different from those that are found in animals. Okay? So in plants, they are useful for holding water, while in animals, they hold food as well as water. So they are more likely to be more pronounced, much bigger in plant cells compared to that of animal cells. The next organelle that you can find in eukaryotic cells are the mitochondria. Singular is mitochondrion. So this is regarded as the powers of the cell. Power of the cell because the mitochondria functions as for the production of energy in the cell in the form of ATP, or the adenosine triphosphate. The mitochondria, unlike the peroxisomes, the ERs, and the lysosomes, is double membrane bounded. So it has an inner membrane and an outer membrane. Now the inner membrane is different because it is in the inner membrane where the ATP is produced, which is the cellular or the fuel for the cellular processes. So these infoldings that are found inside the mitochondria, which is composed of the inner membrane is called cristae. No? This is cristae. Another organelle are the chloroplast. So the chloroplast functions for the production of ATP during the light-dependent reactions and sugars during the light independent reactions of photosynthesis. In addition to having a double membrane, it also has a membrane-bound thylakoid that is found inside. Okay? So the chloroplasts, they contain pigments that harvest light energy and enzymes that catalyze redox reactions or reduction oxidation reactions. So you have here thylakoids, and you have here the different stacks of a thylakoid called granum, plural grana. The matrix inside the chloroplast is called the stroma. The cytoskeleton is an example of an organelle which is not membrane bound, just like the ribosomes. The cytoskeleton is composed of actin filaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. The function of cytoskeleton, just like that of our skeletal system in the human body, is almost the same. They are needed by the cell for structural support, for the movement of materials within the cell, and in some species for the movement of the whole cell. The plasma membrane is also a cellular component. The plasma membrane is also known as the cell membrane. It is a single membrane that is composed of phospholipid bilayer that contains contains transport and receptor proteins embedded on it. It is selectively permeable membrane, meaning not all materials can pass through it. Okay? So this selective permeability, the ability to filter out or selectively permit the passage of molecules in and out of the cell, maintains the intracellular environment. Lastly, the cell wall. Cell wall is a cellular component that provides protection and structural support to certain types of cells. Just like humans, our main protection outside are our skin. The cell wall is almost the same, has almost the same function for those cell wall containing organisms. The cell wall is not membrane bound. It is composed of carbohydrate fibers that runs through a carbohydrate or a protein matrix. Okay. Now, if we compare animals and plant cells, what are the similarities and what are the differences? So both plants and animals have nucleus. They also have rough ER, smooth ER, ribosomes, Golgi body, mitochondrion, plasma membrane, cytoskeleton. But only animal cells have, we call these mobility structures. It could be a flagellum, pwede po cilia. And only animals have lysosomes and centrioles. Okay. However, in plant cells, only plant cells have a centrally located large vacuole. Although we know that animal cells also have their vacuoles, but it is not as centrally located as large as plant cells. Also, plant cells have chloroplast and cell wall. So again, what are those cellular components found in both plants and animals? We have the cytoskeleton, plasma membrane, mitochondrion, nucleus, rough ER, smooth ER, ribosome, Golgi body. But there are also those that are unique to animal cells, like mobility structures, or motility structures like flagellum, cilia. They also have lysosome and centriole. These are not found in plant cells. Instead, in plant cells, you'll find a centrally located large vacuole, chloroplast, and cell wall. Now, to end my presentation, let me give you, these summary questions to wrap up our discussions. So, what are the different cellular components that are found in eukaryotic cells? How do these cellular components differ in terms of their structures and functions? What cellular components are present in animal cells that are not found in plant cells? What cellular components are present in plant cells that are not found in animal cells? So when you review this lesson, be sure to answer these questions to help you understand more about this lesson. So thank you once again, and see you in our next discussion.